baby, swinging down on your tree. Oh, my boss, look mighty mellow, baby, swinging down on your tree.
One of the barges I joined, the Phoenician.
Yeah.
I was only a lad, a teenage lad, but I know we got a train ticket and went to Manningtree, and it was snowing. Got there about 10:30, and you've got no idea which direction to walk in. There's no one about. You come out on the station. I knew I had to get to Missley. I managed to get someone to tell me which direction to walk in.
Yeah.
And I kept walking and walking. It isn't actually that far, but it seemed a long time when it's snowing in the middle of the night. And eventually came to some foreshore. And I thought, there's a barge there on the foreshore. I haven't a clue what barge it was, couldn't read it, it's dead dark.
Yeah.
Anyway, climbed up as a lad, I climbed up the board, and it's the Ethelada, but she's a yacht barge. So I banged on the hatch, and some lady's gone, obviously terrified, this lady down below. Who is it? So I said, oh, sorry to trouble you, I'm looking for the Phoenician. So she said, oh, all right then. So she's undone the hatch and she said, oh, you're going in the right direction, you've got to keep walking. And I thought, right, keep walking, keep walking. Eventually came to the quay and found a door to get through onto the quay, climbed down on the barge, and you can't see a thing, it's so dark.
Yeah.
Eventually found a Phoenician, and I can't remember whether the forecastle was locked or not. I don't think it was, but anyway, I eventually got down below. There's no one aboard, and you can't find a thing. It's a strange barge in the middle of the night, and I eventually felt round in the dark in the forecastle and found a bunk and crawled into it about 2 in the morning. Freezing cold, got nothing to eat, there's no fire going, can't see a thing. So you think, God, what have I let myself in for? And must eventually fall asleep, you see. So I guess it must have been 5:30 in the morning. I can hear this clumping around on deck. I open the hatch, and of course there's all this, these lads from the Maltings there come to, as I subsequently found out, to unload us. I didn't even know whether the barge was loaded or unloaded.
No, right.
So that was a bit of a shock to the system. That was get the hatches off and start unloading.
Was the right barge though, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was the right barge, yeah. So we unloaded, so that was the first
it,
evidence of that.
So it's literally straight in the deep
yeah,
end, wasn't it?
Yeah. Skipper turned up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that was that. But no, it's you know, it's
good introduction.
A good introduction, yeah, absolutely.
And this barge that we're on now, how long have you had this one then?
This barge, we've had this one 10 years. So we've had this one about 10 years, and I mean, we had loads of wooden barges, but they, as we were saying, they're so expensive to run. So expensive, the maintenance. We're all getting old, the barges are getting old, you either need a lot of money or a lot of enthusiasm.
And the charter work doesn't cover the cost,
I mean, we chartered for years, with the Victor, and it never really made any money. I mean, you could just about cover your basic expenses, but there's no way chartering would ever pay to rebuild a full-size wooden barge. It just isn't feasible.
If you go like Holland, they've got loads and loads of barges over there, haven't they?
Yeah,
I went over
the Dutch barges.
A lot more, aren't there? More barges.
There are a lot of barges in Holland. They used to do a lot of trading. We used to see a lot of them coming over here in the summer, but you don't see so many of them now with all the legislation.
It's like the insurance, and it's like EU
insurances. The legislation seems to have stopped a lot of them coming now. We used to see them on pretty regular, and got to know quite a few of them, but we don't see them anymore.
Which is a shame, isn't it? Yeah,
it is a shame.
It's like the community spirit, isn't it?
They
when you have a match or a meeting, come over.
The Dutch barges, the Dutch people themselves, but are lovely. But the Dutch barge skippers, they really were characters. Some of them, and some of the things they used to get up to, which was normal to them, that just amused us,
Yeah, I met one. I went over to Amersfoort. They have a barge match over there.
Yeah, they do.
Very, very competitive. I went to the boatyard and I met one of the skippers that won it. Has won it twice, and just chatted to him.
I've never actually witnessed any of their barge matches, but I have seen films of them, and they are very competitive.
Yeah, very, very. They take it very seriously,
Well, they take it seriously here, but it was quite enlightening watching some of their barges race. I thought, crikey. But,
they they push them right.
They do push them.
You know.
Yeah, I've seen films of them racing, and you think, crikey. Yeah, it's lovely to see. But yeah, this barge, we've had it 10 years now, and it's been good. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you know, how this barge survived is amazing. The reason it survived is because the training of the lightermen in London, and this barge had a GLC grant back in the early 60s.
Yeah.
And was virtually rebuilt back in the early 60s for the apprentice lightermen to row up and down the river. And
in that, they have a lighterman match, don't they? Sort of like
they do have a lot. They do all that. Yeah, they do a rowing match. But you know, they used to use it, and they had a grant and rebuilt, and that's what saved it. And then
so she's working then, yeah. So she got that last chance, really.
That's right. And then Reg Coombs bought it and rigged it out with a tiller and a gaff rig. Yeah. And sailed it, and he sailed it all the way to Pinmill and back with a tiller and a gaff rig, virtually by himself, which is quite a feat in a little thing like this.
Fantastic, yeah.
Fantastic feat.
She's swim head shape.
She was swim head in a budget stern then, and the tiller's laying in our garden now, and the tiller must be a good 10 or 15 foot long. It's a big thing.
One of those. They used to have them on the older barges, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's all carved. It lays at home now. And he eventually got tired of maintaining it and sailing it. And I said to him, if you ever want to sell it, Rich, I might be interested in that. So that's how we come to being the owners of Whippet.
Yeah.
But I did think, you know, with a budget and a swim head and a tiller and the rig it had, it limits it to where you can go with it, what you can do with it, and how well it sails. And it became very obvious very quickly to sail it how you would sail a normal Thames barge. You were going to have to put the conventional ends on it, the conventional bow and stern, and rig it in a normal way, because
swim head's more like a bathtub, I presume.
Yeah, I mean it's typical of all the lighters. She was a lighter. I know they always called these rowing skiffs. They always called these punts. This is a 60-ton punt. This is what it is. There was two sizes, 40 and 60 tons.
They used to go up on the tide, didn't they? And then,
yeah, right up and down,
right
on the tideway,
then,
right up through all the bridges. Yeah.
Because I know there's one guy I spoke to. You know, he was a lighterman.
Yeah.
And he said he started when he left school about 16,
right.
and he was a tall lad.
Yeah.
He said that the lighterman, you know, that he went was an apprentice under, or just the other guy on board. He said he knew so much about the river.
Yeah.
They could go up on the tide, and then when the tide turned, they'd be just perfect to go up.
That's right.
You know,
Absolutely.
into the creek or wherever they wanted to go.
I mean, the chap I'm talking about.
With no engine at all, of course.
That's right. The chap I'm talking about, Reg Coombs, he was a professional lighterman. In fact, he also did sail and started his apprenticeship on Thames sailing barges, and was on several with engineless sailing barges, and
well, so it's amazing how they can still sail something that size, like 80, 90 feet without an engine, isn't it?
Reg is still in good health and still with us.